But it's going every week back at it again. Type B. I have not done the video from my boy in a minute. Launch take. I seen 2 videos. I was like, ooh, you feel me? I must have missed this one. I probably was supposed to watch this and I just forgot. It probably was on my mind. You feel me? But yeah, we got Raditz versus Jujutsu Kaisen. It's totally unfair. I think they would mix that nigga up though, because they got a lot of curse techniques. I ain't gonna hold you. They would mix them up. But are they potent enough to do damage to that nigga? You know what I mean? They might have a chance. Not mean, and not me. Might. I gotta see, bro. They might, bro. I don't know. Anyway, hit the video up, like, man, comment down below, subscribe, all that good jazz. Subscribe to Lonk, bro. Get to 100K this year. Let it. Give my boy the 6 figures tight sheet. But yeah. Right versus JJK. Even though JJK going crazy right now, bro. Oh my god, man. The first like 2 episodes, bro. This shit went stupid. That shit crazy, bro. Anyway, let's dive on in.
So this week, the Jujutsu Kaisen anime returned with season 3. So I think there's no better time to get back into more power scaling topics with the series. When it comes to power scaling different franchises, I think there are certain matchups that act as the arbiters of different levels of power. If your series isn't strong enough to beat a certain character that other series can easily beat, it kind of speaks to the overall strength of the universe.
Put hands on
that
nigga, bro.
Said, I think the single best example of this is the title of this video. Can your anime franchise stop Raditz? Raditz was the first main villain of Dragon Ball Z and was just barely defeated by Goku, Piccolo, and Gohan, ultimately leading to the first death of Goku and opening up the universe to far stronger opponents. So
that's crazy. The nigga died in the first arc.
On the wrong version of Earth and accidentally came across the entire world of Jujutsu sorcery. Would the combined strength and abilities of every sorcerer and curse be able to defeat Goku's brother? Let's find out.
Let's find out, shall we?
Make sure to like and subscribe, and let's jump right in. So I know probably a good number of people watching this video are anime only for Jujutsu Kaisen, but unfortunately, to talk about the endgame scaling of the series, I will have to mention feats, characters, and abilities that have yet to appear in the anime. I will do my best to only talk about them in a vacuum and give away as few plot points as possible so that everyone can still enjoy this video. Still, consider this your formal spoiler warning.
Are we Gucci?
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah,
now,
in
this matchup, it's important to go over the exact setup.
W brother, by the way.
In this scenario, Raditz is arriving on the planet with the same
W
goal
brother.
as any of
Unlike that
his
nigga.
other henchmen. Wipe out all life while leaving the planet intact to be sold by the Frieza Force. We see in flashbacks in Dragon Ball Super that even when entire armies of Saiyans attack a planet, they leave the place mostly intact and even leave the remains of cities behind. In other words, Raditz is not going to be just showing up and blowing up the entire continent of Asia or the entire planet for that matter. It's simply not in character for him to do so. As for the Jujutsu Kaisen side, the whole verse will be teamed up together in a giant army, kind of like the Avengers in Endgame or the Shinobi Alliance against Madara. So with that being said, who would actually win this? Now, just like any 1 versus 100 style fight, quantity by no means correlates to quality, as pretty much 95% of the
told you it was a fucking demon, bro. Get this nigga.
Brings literally nothing to the table. Pretty much any curse or sorcerer considered below grade 1 level isn't even worth talking about. Not only are they substantially weaker, with the in-universe grade system specifically comparing them to real-world phenomena, with most ultimately being weaker than a normal tank, but their hacks abilities are just worse as well. Like, Farmer with a shotgun low-key has a chance of beating Mai because he's got a better gun than she does. Instead, we'll be focusing on the characters whose strength is relevant and who have abilities that might actually make a difference. In other words, the special grades and those on a similar level to them. Because at the end of the day, the single main issue of this fight, at least in the context of this match, is that Raditz is strong. Even when going off of just the manga, Raditz would easily be a planet buster, even when just multiplying his power level off of the several Moonbusters in original Dragon Ball and early
Mm.
DBZ, a level of strength only reached in Jujutsu Kaisen through wank or highly conditional situations.
Yeah.
Instead, we are looking to the abilities,
Let's go, my
combos, and
brother.
strategies that the JJK world could use or employ that could potentially make up for a gargantuan gap in strength, something no single character can do on their own. Thankfully, there are several things going in the favor of the special grades. Notably, Raditz is a dumbass. Not only that, but he is exceedingly
Yeah.
arrogant. He
Runs in the
explicitly
family.
holds back at the start of fights to the point where his own allies didn't actually know how strong he was. Nappa and Vegeta thought his power level was the same as a Cyberman, despite him actually being 300 power level points stronger. Furthermore, Raditz actually allows his opponents to prepare and plan
I don't think
against
I knew
him
that.
in the middle of a battle. And even when he has the chance to finish them off, he prefers just to torture them. With how Raditz's scouter would
Stumping out your own little brother is crazy, bro. It really be your own people, bro. Like, it really be, bro. It's crazy work.
not be able to pick up cursed energy, and how he was genuinely stunned by the concept of a Kamehameha in his own power system. The world of Jujutsu Kaisen may have a genuine chance.
That's what I'm saying, like, they really might.
Curses can potentially take advantage of this overpowered moron. Now, the first section is a general category, and it's the characters who can attack the soul directly. There are several ways to do this. Mahito does it with his curse technique, Toji can do it with the soul-splitting katana, and Yuji can eventually do it after becoming familiar with the contours of the soul. Now, for these, Mahito is directly the most potent, as it seemingly is like an instant kill, or at least transforms whatever he touches. But if someone can reinforce their soul, even subconsciously, they essentially become immune to this ability, or at least resist it, like Yuji, Sukuna, and Nanami did. The issue becomes that it's very likely Raditz has an insanely powerful soul by JJK standards. After all, the components of Ki, when broken down, are Genki, Yuki, and Shoki, body, emotion, and mind, and is quite literally one spirit as described by the people of Yardrat. We even see that by manipulating the shape of one's Ki, the people of Yardrat can change their physical bodies exactly like Mahito can. Now, while Raditz is infinitely worse at using Ki abilities than pretty much everyone in Dragon Ball, the fact that his Ki is still naturally in the thousands means his soul would have a massive health bar, requiring many prolonged attacks from Mahito to make any impact. And as for much as Raditz holds back, he's not just gonna let some random stinky homeless guy touch him for an hour. Yuji and Toji
also, is this a saying? As soon as you piss him off, is up. As soon as y'all even do something that piss him off, is up. You gonna crash out, bro. That ass. I don't know and forgot. He got the grade A transformation. He still got the grade A transformation in his back pocket, bro. What we say, fuck it and just turn to a monkey, bro.
Worse, as they actually need to deal physical damage to affect the soul with their attacks, unlike Mahito, and the gap in strength is simply never letting that happen. Now, an interesting case, pun intended, could be made for Higuruma, specifically in his domain. Now, for the sake of this video, we will just be extremely charitable and assume that Higuruma's domain will work on Raditz, despite this strength difference, as it clearly has worked on people stronger than himself already. If this domain manages to contain Raditz, prevent all violence, and then put the Saiyan on a trial for his crimes, he is instantaneously getting the death penalty.
Oh, that nigga cooked.
The Executioner's Sword, a weapon whose ability is literally just instant death, which again,
that's a nigga domain expansion,
and assume that that will work on Raditz. Now, there are some major issues with getting a win off of this.
That shit kind of tough. What the fuck? You gonna try? So your shit basically a trial. That shit kind of crazy.
This domain. Firstly, the confiscation of the domain would probably do nothing because Raditz doesn't have cursed energy, or at least doesn't use it. And you really can't equate the two when Ki clearly functions more like the soul does in Jujutsu Kaisen. In fact, the domain would probably confiscate Raditz's scouter first, just like how it confiscated cursed tools when given the option. Obviously, against anyone strong, even without cursed energy, Higuruma fails to ever get the Executioner's Blade to make contact with somebody. anybody. And so against Raditz, it
Never mind.
simply isn't working. I think Takaba falls in a similar boat, where even if we assume his ability would work on Raditz, he simply does not have confirmed power to make the ability hit home. For those who don't know, Takaba's curse technique in a vacuum is the single strongest ability in all of Jujutsu Kaisen, surpassing even that of Gojo. He can manifest into reality whatever he finds funny. This translates to absolute chaos at full potential, essentially making him into a classic cartoon character, breaking all logic and wearing down opponents as the gags do real damage to them. But
yeah,
this
that's a good
ability
problem.
still clearly has limits, even if it's just from Takaba's own mental blocks or sense of humor. Think about it this way: if Takaba's comedian ability could really
live
anyone consistently,
action
you'd think
commercial
they'd
or
send
something?
him after Sukuna rather than sending him after Kenjaku with backup. Still, the constant scene switching and chaos of his ability could potentially act as a great distraction for Raditz, while others can take advantage of it. Now, earlier, I did mention that there are some highly conditional situations within which normal sorcerers can generate a far higher level of power than the rest of the verse. Normally, based on feats and calculations, the top tiers of JJK are likely around city to island level, but there are two major exceptions. The first is
That's still crazy.
Yuki, as a last resort final attack, can increase the density of her body until it literally becomes a black hole, which has been calculated to large planet level in power, unironically being an attack on Raditz's level of strength. The issue, though, is that if Yuki does this, unless it gets cancelled out by Kenjaku, everyone else is getting killed by this, as the entire Jujutsu world and Earth itself gets annihilated by this black hole. Raditz, as the only person with comparable power to this black hole, would be the most likely person to survive it. So at best, it's a tie, and at worst, it's still a loss for the Jujutsu verse. The other contextual attack is one that even
baby girl, you can do that. I know I like your fine ass. God damn.
Exceeds the black hole and is hypothetically far stronger than Raditz, which is Yorozu's perfect sphere. This attack creates a sphere with no contact area, and thus, as we get told, generates infinite pressure, hypothetically making its attack potency infinite or at least universal. The main issue is that this attack can seemingly be destroyed still by things far weaker than it, as Mahoraga adapted to it and casually popped the sphere with a single poke, and no one is calling Mahoraga universal. Speaking of Mahoraga, he doesn't really help much here. While Mahoraga's regeneration and adaptation to all phenomena is nice, we clearly see that the only thing he really can't adapt to is just getting hit hard and one shot. So Raditz versus Mahoraga would be like an even more one-sided version of Sukuna versus Mahoraga, with the battle
he was dancing on that nigga, bro,
by a big explosion. And speaking of Sukuna, we can finally talk about the two major players, the two strongest in all of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Let's go.
Gojo and Sukuna. Now again, despite being the strongest, they have no way of hurting Raditz through normal physical means. Even hollow purples and fire arrows would be doing negative damage to the planet-busting alien. However, along with pure power, Gojo and Sukuna both have a unique potential one-shot ability in their arsenal. For Gojo, it's his domain, Endless Void, which is a pure mental attack that overflows the mind of those trapped in the domain with infinite information, leaving them essentially in a coma. Raditz has zero defense against the Void. Sukuna, on the other hand, has a purely physical attack, the World-Cutting Slash, an attack that hypothetically bypasses any amount of durability by cutting the space itself rather than the actual target. Obviously his most powerful move. Again, while later Dragon Ball characters have shown resistance or the ability to warp spacetime, Raditz and characters of a similar level of power have not. So
have the fuck not.
Kaisen wins? Well, no.
Oh,
While
shit.
it's certainly possible to plug a controller into
I thought they had it, boss.
character and execute the perfect quote-unquote anti-Raditz plan, involving perfect combinations of all their previous mentioned abilities and more, while Raditz just completely throws the fight, everything still mostly depends on Raditz nerfing himself so much that all of these attacks or abilities actually hit him. While yes, Raditz held back against Goku and Piccolo, these guys were still moonbusters in their own right. Plus, this whole time, I've been ignoring speed. All that really needs to be said is that one of these series is still defending itself from being only slightly faster than sound. Ultimately, while this is a fun hypothetical, at the end of the day, Jujutsu Kaisen simply isn't consistently stopping Raditz.
Damn. And he didn't even go to grade 8 yet. That's you know, a rampaging ape. Oh yeah, it's up. It's gonna be up for niggas. And again, Raditz, he's like the type of saying like, yeah, You piss him off, he gonna crash out. Yeah, they do something, he gonna crash out. You feel me? Like let's say if they did do damage and he felt it, like what the fuck? He gonna crash out. You know what I'm saying? And the first one who hit him like that gonna be the first one to go.
Being honest, if Raditz sees a whole army of humans and curses in front of himself, he's just casually firing a mountain dwarfing
he might actually do that shit. Man, get the fuck out my face. He might actually just do that.
explosion at them. While it may feel like I left people out of this analysis, like Yuta, Rame, Kenjaku, Hikari, none of these characters have a potent ability negation power that would make them anything other than fancy cannon fodder for the Saiyan. So, yeah, unfortunately, Raditz wins. But maybe Medulo can change things? Who? Made it this far. Thank you so much for watching. As always, thank you to my...
Who? I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought they low-key had a chance. I'm not even gonna hold you, you know? Because it's Raditz. Damn. But damn. Damn, just speed alone. Oh my god. This stuff, the speed feats is crazy. Well, stuff for Tite. Hey, y'all still nice though. Y'all still nice. I got some crazy fights in y'all shit, bro. Love y'all for that. Like dead ass. Oh my god. I know it's like never seen that, bro. Like a nigga just became a meme. Just like that shit just took over Twitter, bro. Like bro, niggas came up with so many, oh my god, bro. So many different franchises, bro. It's crazy. Shout out to JJK, man. Oh my god, one of these new gen anime, bro, that's really like that, really hit it, you know. I don't think I was seen that from like any other like new gen anime, you know. Like a meme like that, just taking over like that, that shit crazy. Cause I mean, it was disrespectful. The way he was walking that nigga down, that shit was disrespectful. It really was. Anyway, love y'all. Thanks for watching. You got some good traction, man. Hit the video up with a like, comment down below, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe to Lonk people to 100,000. Let me know y'all agree with this take or not. You feel me? Oh man, I thought they might have it. I thought they legit might have it. They legit like jumped that nigga like for real. But yeah, if you feel like blitzing, I guess, you know what I'm saying? Blitz away. But yeah, love y'all, and I'll see y'all the next one. Peace.